I have a quote for you today. Let today be the day you give up who you've been for who you can become. That's Hal Elrod. He wrote the book Miracle Morning. Love that book. I've applied a lot of those things to my life. But if you struggle with being disciplined and motivated like me, from time to time anyway, then you're going to love today's tips, today's podcast, because, I mean, frankly, a lot of us, for being disciplined, at least for me, I failed at getting in shape. And just doing this thing could have prevented me from the wishing and hoping and wish I would have learned it sooner, and finally realizing that one trait I needed to do was to be disciplined. But to be honest, that sounded boring to me. It sounded structured. It sounded like I was being put into a box and you gotta do this. And so I wanted the flexibility. I wanted the fun. And over the years, I would get started, and then I didn't get disciplined because it might have been because of that flexibility and fun, where it was kind of like, I'm going to do it my own way. You know, I'm going to do it my own way. Don't try and tell me what to do. But over the years, when I got serious, I discovered some easy ways so you could still have fun, still be flexible, and still be disciplined enough to not only get the results, but to keep the results. And I think for a lot of times people they're worried that, oh my gosh, I don't want to put in all this time and effort and not get results at all. So I think that last point is key, because I think a lot of times people kind of fear that. So I do want to welcome you to another Power Blast podcast, where we provide nourishment for the soul, allowing you to transform from the inside out, providing you rapid results in mindset and fitness so that you can reclaim, your power and recharge that mental and physical battery of yours. And my name is Perry Tinsley. In case you didn't know, I mean, it's right there on the channel and everything, probably in the lower third as well. But before we get into all this great stuff, I do want to let you know that I do offer a free call. It's over at talktoperry.com. That's where my calendar is at. And it's all about keeping that energy high. And I think you can accomplish a lot of things when your energy's high, because a lot of us, we wear that busy badge a lot. And we feel overwhelmed and kind of, when we get home from work, we're just wanting to crash down on the couch. That is, if we have time to do that, right? So I'll do that in 15 minutes over on my calendar. You can check out the details there, talktoperry.com. Okay, so mastering self-discipline. It's a big one. And if you can get your mind to break away from self-discipline means I'm boxing and painting myself into a corner or being caged or whatever. Just for a moment here, since you're on video, you're probably not, for podcast listeners that are catching this on driving your car, you're not going to close your eyes. But if you're just sitting there on your computer, on your phone, close your eyes for a moment. Go into your imagination, that picture that you can make on the mental movie screen in your mind, right? What is your ideal goal? And get really clear on this. A lot of times, especially at the beginning of the year, when people are they set their yearly goals, they think of things they don't want. They're kind of vague on their goals. They're saying, I just want to get in shape and lose some weight. Get really clear on this. How do you feel at your end result? What exercise habits do you have? What's your thinking like? What foods are you eating? How are you grocery shopping? How are you fueling your mind? What are you now able to do at that ideal end result? So you start doing those. So that's just a great way to really be detailed in your imagination. Now you can open your eyes. I wasn't going to do a guided visualization there, but I recommend doing that a few times a day. And what you'll find out is each time you do it, you get better at it. You get more vivid. You get more clear. So if at the very beginning it kind of ends up being fuzzy, well, that's okay. Just know, just like exercise, just like getting good at anything, it takes practice. It takes repetition. I recommend writing it down a few times a day, reading it out loud to yourself. Because when you start there in your mind, in your imagination, and you really get clear on those things, that's going to kickstart your momentum even better. It'll help you reach your results even faster. And I know a lot of you out there may be saying, no, I don't know. Does that really work? You know what? All you can do is try it. It's not going to take you a long time to do it. If anything, things you want to accomplish in life, go into your imagination first and really leverage that. When it comes to your health and fitness, what you're wanting to do, what that end result goal is, instead of putting it way out there as like, oh, someday maybe, you start being that person now. Now, you might not see the visible results in your 3D world, that you've lost the weight, you got in shape, that you have ripped abs, that you whatever it is that you pictured. But you can start, how does that person think when they go to exercise? Are they saying, I don't feel like it today? Or is that person in your imagination, does that person show up for exercise? Does that person, that person, when they're at the store, are they making purchases and purchasing foods to fuel their body and help the results? Or are they making excuses and justifications and negotiations? So that's why I say do that person now. You're taking action by doing those habits and doing that thinking now. It doesn't become this one day maybe thing. It's day one right now. Here are the things that I noticed when I started being that person now. I took a look at, what are my weaknesses? What are the things and the excuses and the things that I've been putting up that I can easily manipulate, like right here and now. One of them was I don't have time. And when I get home from work, I need to relax and unwind because it was a long day of work and I had an hour commute. When I changed and flipped the script there and went, no, I'm going to use that time. Instead of sitting and relaxing, I'm going to use that time to increase my energy, to increase my mindset, to increase my, to get the fitness done. I removed temptations. I did kind of a kitchen makeover. I didn't wait till one day that I was in shape and I was going to do that. I was like, I'm going to be that person now. It's like be, do, have. A lot of times people are like, what do I want to have? And then what do I need to do it? And so I can be somebody else or be something different. No, you be now, and then start doing, and then you'll have the things that you want. So being clear on your goals and getting a plan, I think, is very, very key and essential. And you know what? We can get into this analysis by paralysis and choosing the right one. You know what? Just as my friend Sam Crawley said, do simple better. Just find something simple. Pushing and pulling exercises. Lean proteins, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, water, healthy fats, and execute the plan. The thing is, the person that you were in your imagination that you're doing now is probably a person that shows up no matter what, even when they don't feel like it. Creating these simple doable habits and doing them daily and create like an empowerment ritual of some sort. Fueling your body with healthy nutrients. These are the things that, while it didn't happen exactly right there on the day, I started showing up now for my workouts. I shortly after realized that all the temptation is in my house because I was kind of justifying the box of brownies in the cupboard, like, well, just in case guests come over, And then I'm thinking, nobody is going to come over and I'm going to think, let's bake brownies. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is there may be a stressful time or a stressful day at work or a time when I don't feel like it, and I'm going to know those brownies are there, and I'm probably going to bake them up, and I'm probably not going to just have one as a little, treat or a little taster. I'm probably going to eat the whole pan or maybe half the pan. So I said, you know what? That person at my end result that I'm doing now has great healthy options in the house. Now, did I wipe everything out? No, but I identified the things with what's the temptation, what's the story I'm putting around it. And beware, I was aware of the story of, but I paid good money for that. So you know what? I should eat everything in the freezer before I start. I should eat everything. There's a story. It's a program that's been handed down generation after generation. How many times we've been told somebody's starving in some sort of country. and we should appreciate and eat all the things now. That story, where did it come from? It didn't come from me. And then creating a no matter what plan. I did, to alleviate this escape hatches. So I refer to, those moments of time where you try to negotiate with yourself to get yourself off the hook. Or when you've gone far enough, like, I don't feel like exercising. And eventually you don't get back to exercise for 2, 3, 4 months down the road. I created what I call a no matter what plan, a 10 to 15 minute routine and a commitment to myself that when I didn't feel like it, even if I had a headache or I was feeling a little off, unless I was like in bed sick and just couldn't get up, I would show up at least 10 to 15 minutes for my workout. I put an X on the calendar because that's how I tracked it. The X meant I showed up. And if I showed up for 10 to 15 minutes, I didn't say I had to show up and have the most kick butt workouts ever. I just needed to show up and put in the time. Almost every time that I committed to the 10 to 15 minutes, I ended up finishing a routine at like a half hour, 20 minutes, something like that. I think having a backup plan, let's not even call it a backup plan, because that sounds like, something's going to give. I think it's planning ahead for potential things that you maybe habitually that have habitually gotten you off track. That might be like holidays, parties, things like that. For me, I was like, okay, when I first started, I had a twisted ankle, and I'm like, maybe I should wait till I heal. And Easter was coming up that very next week. Maybe I should wait till after Easter. And then I caught myself in those stories that I'd been telling myself, and why I had gotten really good at procrastination. You will too. A lot of people are really good at quitting. They become master quitters. Or they start something, they get going. Nope, not for me. I quit. And it gets easier each time. So I decided to change the stories of what I was saying. I created a little reward system along the way. And that was just simple things, like a movie or something like that. It wasn't necessarily a food item of any sort, but I joined a support group for motivation, for tips, particularly for accountability. I knew that Joe was checking in, so I better step up, get it done, and check in because Joe's checking in, right? You want to be a part of. I run monthly virtual boot camps online, so you can do it right from home and everything like that. Message me, perryputyourselffirst.com, or you can just drop it in the comments with the word boot camp, and I will respond to those. I think another big thing is to forgive yourself and get back on track when things don't go as planned, okay? Because that will happen. Those moments will happen, and a lot of times people will beat themselves up mentally, get the mental negative chatter, and I should have done this, maybe I should start over, and all this stuff. You've got to catch yourself when you're doing that and break that cycle as quickly as possible and get back to it. It's like, you know what? I'm just continuing on from where I'm at. So, here's to being super consistent, being disciplined, crushing your goals. And, speaking of energy, that's why I tell people, hop on my calendar at talktoperry.com, because we scramble around. A lot of us wear this busy badge, or we say, I'm good, I'm just busy. Catch yourself when next time you're doing that, because you're programming your mind that you're busy. And then everything conspires around you to make yourself busy and give you no time to do that. And so we scramble around our lives like we're 6-year-old iPhones, 2% battery life. We've seen all the warning alerts happen, and we can't find a charger. And it's like, oh my gosh, I got to open another app. Just one more thing will just overload me. I can't do it. I'm too busy. And so that's why I say, get on my calendar. I call it a recharge call, because it's all about keeping that energy high. And hey, you know what? Worst case scenario, you're going to get 3 strategies to boost your energy, reclaim your time, and make you the priority. Seriously, how would your life look different if your mental and physical battery was running at 100% every single day? My calendar is at talktoperry.com. And just to leave you with these thoughts, just know that you can choose to take control and, just use your power and do that. Or you can let the excuses, the quitting, the justifications, the negotiation with yourself, the alibis, all the reasons why you can't start and you're going to wait until life settles down, the busyness, comparison, all those things control you and drain your power. And you do have control to shift a lot of those. It's just a story that you've been telling yourself or you got from somebody else. They call it a limiting belief. So when you start removing those and questioning them, man, it's deciding and committing to yourself and your goals and choosing to figure out new ways, looking at possibilities, learning and growing and moving forward. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. Remember, a boot camp if you want to drop in there for one of those. But, drop your favorite takeaway in the comments. I do respond to those. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to UpsideDownFit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.